No justice, no peace. 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 The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are that of my own and are not of my employer.
Nobody likes me. Nobody likes me. But that's okay, cause I don't like y'all anyway. And I don't like y'all anyway.
We have until November of 2020 to get our act together as a country, as a nation, to correct this injustice. And the biggest injustice in the world was allowing a foreign power to install a criminal into the White House and turn an administration into a fascist crime syndicate. That must be corrected. And we only have there's only one more election we have to correct it, or this whole thing is over.
If you don't know what Staten Island is, it's like New York's abortion that lived.
I never met any of the founding fathers, but I'm sure if they were listening to East Coast Radio right now and brand new episodes of Dyze in your house, they would agree with the sentiment. And you could follow us on Twitter at East Coast Radio. Get us on Patreon at East Coast Radio. Vote. Blue Wave 2020. Let's make it happen. East Coast Radio for the least heard voices. Every weekend. We here on East Coast Radio are trying to fight the rising tide of fascism.
The noun fascism is usually defined as a governmental system led by a dictator having complete power, forcibly suppressing opposition and criticism, regimenting all industry, commerce, etc., and emphasizing an aggressive nationalism and often racism.
Yeah, we don't want any of that in America. So we gotta stop it. We gotta put out the fire now. Staten Island was no joke. As liberals, not even as liberals, as Americans, as patriots, as people that like democracy. The only thing we can do right now to fix our country is use our weapons. And our weapons are our voices, our handmade signs, and social media. Get the message out there. Voting. Voting is key. Elections have consequences.
If you don't know what Staten Island is, it's like New York's abortion that lived.
Representing Staten Island.
Staten Island wasn't no joke.
Hey, yo. Who's in the house? Dyze in your house. What is the word, peeps? What goes on? It is the weekend. I am Jay Parks. We are back here on East Coast Radio with another action-packed edition of Dyze in your house. Don't let the distractions fool you, folks. We are still trying to save democracy. And we do that by using our voices, by using our handmade signs, and using social media to blast out the importance of voting. Because when you live in a world where you see something happen, and then the people that made that happen told you, nah, you didn't just see that happen, even though it just happened. I mean, that's the closest thing to fascism I could think of. Hey Google, what is fascism?
According to Wikipedia, fascism is a wing, authoritarian ultranationalism characterized by dictatorial power, forcible suppression of opposition and strong regimentation of society and of the economy which came to prominence in early 20th century Europe.
Yeah, we don't, in America, we're not interested in any of that fascism stuff that they're selling down the way. They got garbage down the way. And we got the good stuff over here. And the good stuff, stuff that's live, stuff that's lit, is democracy. And here's what happens in a democracy. You pick your leaders. Because this country, this democracy, is for you. It's for me. It's for us. It's not for just old white guys who are rich and powerful. And there's a prime example this week. Now, could we sit here and for a half hour talk about the squad and this clown telling them that they should go back to where they came from, which, by the way, is America? We could talk about that. But that is all a major distraction from everything that's going on. I mean, besides, it's a distraction from everything Epstein related. Which, there's new video out of Trump and Epstein pointing out girls and basically being creepy old men, you know, with young women in a video from the 90s. That's, mainstream media is all over that. But all that's distracting also from something that's going on that's a little close to home. From the Rugged Lands of Shaolin. Home of Wu-Tang, Pete Davidson, and racist cops. And that's, my friends, Staten Island, where the Justice Department chose to not go forward, surprisingly, with charges against Daniel Pantaleo, the cop that choked Eric Gardner in the street and killed him. Eric Gardner said I couldn't breathe at least 11 times and was choked out and was killed. And here, my thing is this. If you're somebody that sits back and thinks that America and racism, that relationship is okay right now, if you think, oh, well, you know what, they're working on that. Just remember, like, listen, black people get killed by police all the time without any repercussions for it. Nobody gets in trouble ever. Whether it's Philando Castile, whether it's that kid in Baltimore who the cops arrested, threw in the back of a truck, and then he's dead when they show up. I mean, the racial injustice, and I was talking to a bus driver about this. Like, this... Well, I'll get into what I was talking... I'll get into the police force and law, but... Like, if you're... Think about this. If you're black, like, the police can just kill you, apparently. Because let's go over the Eric Gardner thing. The Eric Gardner thing is not rumored innuendo about what he was doing. It is literally all captured on film. It was shot on film. Clear as day in the daytime. For everybody to see. See a guy, Eric Gardner, who apparently just broke up a fight. He's got his hands, his palms are in the air. Saying, please don't touch me. Because what happens is, in these types of neighborhoods, the cops, they bother you. Like, they come around looking to cause trouble. And they will instigate. They will try. And Eric Gardner knew these cops because they'd been around his block all the time. And for people to go around saying, for people to watch that video and say, you know, he was doing this, he was doing that, he was doing nothing. Kid had his palms up. Kid was not a danger to anybody. And I am so sick and tired of when, you know, listen, like, when the cops come by, we all have to, like, we're not in military school. Like, this is America. I'm not saying we're here to disrespect and, you know, treat cops like garbage, but at the same time, that doesn't give them free reign to treat American citizens like garbage, day in, day out. And trust me, I know a couple of cops, they're not like that. It's not, you know, it's not the vast majority of them. I want to believe that it is not the vast majority of cops that are okay with killing black youth in America. Killing black people in America, period. You know, I feel like that cops should know better than to kill people. I mean, is that like a crazy sentence to say? Think about that sentence. I think that cops should know better and not kill people. Because you know who kills people? Criminals kill people. And I'm really... like, alright, so let's look at the Gardner video just alone. By itself. You can't take out your stick and hit this guy in the back of the leg so he falls. Why can't you do that? See, I know why you can't do that. You can't do that because if this guy falls, if he breaks his leg, then all of a sudden it's on video and now he's going to sue the police department for hurting him for no reason, which is accurate. Because again, we have video of Eric Gardner not committing crimes and being killed. Okay? And it's no surprise that the Justice Department decided to give this Daniel Pantaleo not fire him. It's not surprising at all that they didn't pursue charges. Look who runs the Justice Department, Bill Barr. Get out of here. Get out of here with that nonsense. So we're sitting here, and what are we going to do? Well, at least Bill de Blasio's running for president, right? Because now, that next debate, oh, man. They're going to get on stage if that cop still has a job. Because that cop got a raise, by the way. And that cop did not have to miss work. And Bill de Blasio is the mayor of New York City. He's the chief executive or whatever. Which he hires the police commissioner. He's in charge of the police force. He's the guy that decides who the commissioner is. Therefore, he can be like, yo, fire that guy. Should have did that 5 years ago. So, Bill de Blasio's gonna watch his freaking presidency dreams go up in smoke the next time he gets asked a question about this. Because he utterly failed New York in this sense. Because here's what happens. Now, you got protesters, rightfully so, who are angry, rightfully so, and want to make their displeasure known, rightfully so. And now, you not only have this Pantaleo guy, you're like, okay, we got a whole bunch of other cops on the scene too that day. Why didn't they do anything? Why aren't they fired? Why aren't the people who saw this video? Why are they still employed? Why is James O'Neill still a job? Bill de Blasio, like, now, this shitstorm has spread. Instead of, you gotta make an example out of this guy. You fire that guy day one. And I'm talking as a PR perspective here. Like, if you fire that guy day one, we are not still talking about this today. If you fire him, and then he sues the police department for his pension, he would have got it. Police have a strong union. So he would have got the pension anyway. And nobody would have known. It's not like it would have been breaking news. Daniel Pantaleo still gets his pension. Like, no, he would have been out of a job. And I'm not saying it would have been okay that somebody died, but at least there would have been some repercussions for it. Whereas now, nobody, the only person in jail from the Eric Gardner incident is the kid that filmed the Eric Gardner incident. Funny how that happens. It's funny. Not funny, haha. But it's like, it's weird, coincidental in a way where the one guy that makes the police department look like fools all of a sudden is in jail. Shortly after he made the police department look like fools. And that was 5 years ago, and somehow this guy's still locked up. So that this guy's under the jail. For what reason? What did they find him with? Was he running a sex trafficking ring? Was he, like, running a mini Jeffrey Epstein thing on Staten Island? No. He filmed some cops killing somebody. And I know this isn't all cops, but Like, it's this whole us against them. Like, when you're a cop, you become, like, part of, alright, I'm no longer a human, now I'm a cop. And only me and cops get together and do things together, and, like, we stick together, and, like, I get the whole... we should be sticking together as Americans. As people who are living in this country, and together in this community that is America, we should all stick together. Shouldn't be, oh, well, you know, I'm a cop, so I'm going to run this red light because, you know, if I get pulled over, I'm just going to show this cop that I'm a cop. And it's okay, because nothing's going to happen. It starts off like that. I'm going to go right on red here, even though there's no sign. Because I'm a cop. If I get pulled over, I'll just tell them I'm a cop. And then all of a sudden, they kill some black guy. And then it's like, oh, well, I'm a cop. You guys aren't going to come after me, right? I'm a cop. I'm one of you guys. So this guy sits, still employed, got a raise, has police detail outside his house because protesters found his house, rightfully so. I love America. Because protesters found his house and decided that they are going to protest outside of it. Heck yeah. Heck yes. This is democracy. We protest. We're not out there breaking laws. We're allowed to be in the street, and we're allowed to voice our displeasure. You know? We're allowed to do that. That's American. That's what Americans do. They're allowed to criticize their leaders without repercussion. That's called democracy. That's another key in the democracy pie. You know? There's a big pie of democracy. It being all for us, for the people, that's one of it. No one is above the law, that's one of it. Sticking together. Voting. Criticizing leadership. Criticizing your leaders. Constructively criticizing your leaders. Without being told to go back to somewhere you didn't come from. This is what America's about. Remember, these people, these, original Americans, they were from a place where they couldn't criticize government. What'd they do? They left. They got on a boat, and they went to a place they had never been before. Never been. Like, imagine, like, you're going somewhere, and, like, on the way there, you're like, alright, we gotta plan how we're gonna have food. Like, think about that. Oh, we gotta plant some crops when we get there. How fast do crops grow? If the Native Americans weren't here waiting for those assholes would have been dead. Okay? And then what'd they do? They saw Native Americans. Oh, they saw some brown people. What'd they do? Now, the story is that they had Thanksgiving together. Ooh, we all kumbaya. We had Thanksgiving. No, that's not what happened. What happened was, they saw a species of people who had skills. But they saw the one thing they didn't have was weapons. And they were like, these guys are our slaves. And that's how slavery started in America. It was brought here by the Pilgrims. And this country has a huge problem with slavery and race and how we gotta deal with that. And, like, you want to tell me that racism is over, but, like, if Kamala Harris is a presidential candidate now, and when she went to public school, she was getting bussed into schools that were no longer segregated, I gotta tell you, this racism thing didn't end as long ago as we all think it did. You know? When you got these Klan rallies that Trump leads all the time, I mean, maybe America has a racism problem? And maybe, as Americans, we should have more responsibility, and maybe we should, say out loud that, we fucked up. Not just put it in textbooks and, teach about it. And not talk about how we're not doing it now. Why don't we talk about how we owe things to black people? We owe them. They built we have a country that was built on the backs of slavery. And we don't even, now that there's no slavery, we don't even sit there and like, yo, thanks, yo. Like, we don't do anything. We don't say, hey, let's make it easier for black people to get loans for homes. Like, I saw Kamala Harris has a plan. And I don't mean to get on a Kamala Harris thing, but, it's Kamala, not Kamala. Kamala's the wrestler. Kamala is Kamala Harris. She said she was going to give, make it easier for people in government subsidized housing to get loans to get their first home. Yeah. Can you believe it? Like, helping people who are less off. Getting people out of subsidized housing. Here's the thing about the projects. It's not supposed to be where you live the rest of your life. Like, that is not how that works. And I don't care what you've been led to believe is the truth. Okay? The projects is not for people to live for 40 years at a time. You live in the projects until you get on your feet. We're supposed to live in a country where you get on your feet. Not where you just live. Like this whole getting by. If you work 40 hours, try getting an apartment. And we have, in this country, the racial inequality, the wealth inequality, the wealth gap, that grows. Like, yeah, they could raise our wages to $15 or whatever. But the rich people are not paying more taxes. And that's just not how anything should work. You should at least want everybody to be paying the same amount of taxes in any fair and balanced system. Now, if you want to tax me on my $200 a week or whatever it is I make, and let's just say you make $2,000 a week, you're going to be paying more taxes than me. You're going to be mad at that. I don't really care. Because we deserve to pay the same amount of taxes. And the way that America works is that if we all pay the same amount of taxes, and there's a lot of taxes being paid, like Amazon paying no taxes, that's a dubby. You need to fix that. Like ASAP, like Ferg. We need to fix that. CEOs of companies are making more money than ever. And yeah, you can get your $15 an hour minimum wage. But here's what happens with that. That job that you had 39 hours at, now you have 32 hours. Call that the American raise. Where you get a raise and they tell you that they're cutting your hours. It's good old-fashioned America right there. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And we have a week. And I just want, we just need to know, it starts. There's a million places we can start. You know? But how about, to have a better country, why don't we all, you know, as Americans, start saying, hey, you know what's not cool? Killing black people. I mean, could we just as a nation agree that killing black people is not cool and not something that we should be doing? Because if we can settle on not killing black people, then I'm thinking maybe there are other things that we can make progress in as well. Other fields we can advance ourselves in. But right now, why don't we take baby steps and not kill black people? And when I leave work, I pass by that corner all the time. I don't want to say every day because I don't work but every time I leave work, I walk to the Stapleton train station, you know, because I don't want to pay the fare at the ferry. So I walk 2 stops down so I can get on for free. I pass by Gardner Block all the time. Yeah, I pass it all the time. I'm thinking, man, they killed somebody right there. And now you see people on the news and you're like, oh man, they're protesting. Why don't they just, you know, do something with their lives? Nah, bro. No justice, no peace. You know, I didn't notice it. I was told at work that I'm, like, very liberal. At work, my friends were like, yo, The kids I work with. The kids. Well, they all... Actually, this is the one time I say kids and they are kids. Because I'm like one of the oldest guys that works there. They're like, yo, man. This guy Jason is like... more no justice, no peace than any of us. I mean, I didn't know. But, like, I just thought, like... we shouldn't kill black people. And it gets me mad. Even though I'm not black. It gets me mad because I'm American. Eric Garner's American, and I don't want to see my peers get killed. And that's just that. Next time you're thinking about killing a black kid, maybe just pull out your stick, hit him in the leg, so he falls, and then say, hey buddy, you shouldn't be doing whatever we think you're doing. And that's that. People live. Is that so hard? Can we make a promise right now to do that? Dyze in your house. Exclusively on Least Coast Radio.